Yo, what it do? If you looking to get the best mixes out of your home studio setup, well, stay tuned. I got something for you.
Martial Law Productions.
Yo, what it do is Big Yo representing one half of Martial Law, and welcome to the Martial Law Productions YouTube channel. Alright, before we get into it, I want everybody to please hit that like button and subscribe and share so we can keep this content coming. Let's get into it. I think I got the cheat code to getting the best mixes out of your home studio setup. You know, a lot of times when we in the home studio setup, we are not in the perfect environment. The walls aren't set up properly. A lot of times the treatment isn't set up properly. So we have to find ways to try to make sure our mixes translate well on all different types of systems. So today I want to talk about spectroscopes. If you look right there, I got a spectroscope right there. Let me move this over. I got a spectroscope right there so I can see what my mixes look like. Now, a lot of times people don't understand or know how to read the spectroscope, but what I found that if you get the perfect slope, it don't have to be perfect, but if you get a nice slope going, and I'll show you what that slope is on screen, but if you get the slope right, then your mixes will translate on almost any system with no problem. I've been doing this for years. I can almost tell when the mix is out of balance. But you know, you have to use your ears, of course, but getting that slope correct will help you to get the perfect mix. It'll translate well on all systems. For those who don't know, a spectroscope is a tool that's used for a visual representation of your mix. You can look at it and find discrepancies in your mix, or if there's an issue or any type of resonance that you hear and you don't know where it is, well, the spectroscope will show you where it is. I won't get into the real technical part of it because most people don't want to hear that. They just really want to hear how it's going to help them. For me, I put it on, I use a spectroscope throughout the whole mix. That's why I have a physical one over here, because I can look at it throughout the entire mix process and it guides me to making the correct decisions for keeping that slope correct and keeping my mixes well balanced. The reason the slope is important is because a lot of times in the spectrum, you will see different peaks and drop-offs inside the spectrum, and that lets you know that there's a problem in certain frequency areas. Most of the time in home studios, we have trouble hearing the bass. Using this spectroscope, it allows you to get a representation of where your bass is actually sitting. I can sit here at my desk and play certain songs and they won't translate properly because the bass may be too loud or the bass may be too low. Having these tools help you keep everything in line so you can understand what you're doing and why you're doing it. Just understand the best tool to use is your ears. But that spectroscope is the second, that's the number two. People think it's the monitors, but you can use the worst monitors and get a great mix if you understand how to use that spectroscope. So your room doesn't have to be perfect. One thing I recommend that you do is take records that you love and you run them through your system and you look at that slope and look at how their spectrum of their mixes look. Sometimes you can even try to copy what their balance looks like. And once you start to understand how that works, then you'll understand what your mixes are supposed to sound like in your studio. So we're gonna check out how to use the spectroscope. I have a physical one right here, but let me see, I don't know if you guys can see it. Really can't see it, it's over here. But most people may not have one, so we have to use the tools that we have available in plug-in form. I'm gonna let you guys check out what we're doing or how I normally do it. We're gonna be working in Studio One. I normally work in Pro Tools, but when I'm mastering, I like to go in Studio One because it just lets me take myself out of that mixing environment, and I'm only working on stereo file. I have two that I normally would bring up when I'm doing my mastering. That's this one, and it's one that's, you know, already built inside of Studio One. And so you can see it right here. This is a large view of it, but we can bring up a smaller view. And this is a smaller version of it. And you can change it, you know, to your liking. Let me just Baby, I chose you, and you chose me. And see, it's kind of hard to tell how the slope is on this particular one. It's the same as this and the same as this, but they're set up in different ways. Let me see if I can. So these are just different ways that you can look at your mix. And there's a reason why I like to look at the physical one, because to me, it gives me a better representation of the mix. This one is from Waves. Right here, response. You want to slow it down. You see this slope right here? So you want it to basically be kind of at the top of the slope, and then you want it to gradually roll off until it trails off on the high end. This represents the high end, and this represents the low end. Normally below 30, you really can't hear that. It's just showing you the information that's there. So a lot of times we want to take a filter and roll this information off. But make sure you're using your ears, because your ears are more important than that, just the visual representation of it. But you get the idea. You can kind of use these to gauge your mix. And this is a pretty good one too. But this is, remember this, the high end is to the right, low end is to the left. So this represents the treble of the mix. This is the middle, the mids, and this is the lows. And depending on the genre of music, you just want to try to match other commercial mixes and make sure yours translate or look just the same or close to it when you're doing your mix. But these are just two that I use sometimes when I'm checking out the mix and I'm trying to see what the mix actually looks like when I'm doing my mastering, especially when I'm mastering a project from a different genre. Sometimes I'll just I'll stick some different songs in here. Let me remove this. I'll stick different songs in here, and then I just play them, and then I can look at the spectrum. But most of the time I use my physical spectroscope. Make sure that you like, share, and subscribe, and we're gonna try to keep the content coming. But also, I just released a new song that you can check out, and you can tell me what you think about it and how you think it sounds, and also run it through your spectrum analyzer and check it out and see how the balance is of the mix. But the links will be in the description, and anybody who looking for mixing, mastering, or production, please hit us up on Instagram at Marshall_Law_Media or www.mlmediallc.com. Peace out.